Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 6 Reunion Part 4. Do you see this smile on my face? Guys, I am so happy. I don't know what to tell you. The way this season wore me thin, the reunion wore me thin. I am so happy that we are at the final part.
Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you, God.
I'm going to let you guys know now. Yes, I felt like Nicki's line of questioning was very entertaining, very fun. I will say that she was pretty fair across the board on giving everybody the business, okay? So let me just say that. But there were some times where I felt like she might have been a little harsh on certain people. But with all that being said, let's just jump right on into it because we don't have a minute to spare. But first, champagne, because we deserve it. Because this was an extremely tiresome season. Cheers, y'all. Ooh, I poured too much. Look at me, always overdoing it. So good. And it tastes even better in the actual Veuve Clicquot flute. Look at that. So this final part starts off where we left off last week. Nicki is confronting Ashley about her lack of a storyline this season. Baby, did you guys see how defensive Ashley got when Nicki kept saying, "Child, you ain't have no storyline, and that's why you were Giselle's sidekick starting up mess with Wendy." And you could tell that Ashley felt some type of way because, one, it was the truth. Two, she was sitting on the end of the couch. And if you have been watching Housewives for quite some time, then everybody knows that anytime Andy places a housewife at the end during a reunion, that signals that they probably won't be coming back for the following season because their storyline was A, non-existent, it was full of mess, kind of fake, sort of staged. You get my drift. But Ashley, I'd be a little bit worried if I were you because, baby, you were grasping at straws this season, and a good majority of us cannot stand you. So nobody would be too sad to see you go. But I digress. So Ashley is a little bit defensive, and she says, no, Nicki. Now, come on. This is my 6th year on the show, and it's not like I don't have a repertoire of things that I've gone through on camera. While that's true, sis, a lot of your storyline has come from Michael and his nonsense. Like, if your husband wasn't a predator, you actually would have nothing to give to this show, to be very honest with you. And because Michael opted out to film with you this season, like, he was really not in a whole bunch of episodes, and neither were you. And because of that, you didn't have much going on. Ashley then goes on to say that despite what it looked like about her being messy with Wendy, she says that everybody kept giving her a different story about things. And on top of that, it seemed to be this elephant in the room addressing Wendy. So now Wendy cuts in and says, I feel like Ashley wasn't being malicious when she told me the news. That was all on Giselle. Now Nicki is confused at Wendy giving Ashley a pass and putting everything on Giselle. And she's like, girl, what? One had the knife in your back and the other had the knife in your face. So Wendy keeps saying that Ashley wasn't malicious. It was all on Giselle. Now, Wendy, I have to call BS on that because when that whole thing went down in Williamsburg, when Ashley left the house, you were like, good with your miserable ass about Ashley. So you called her miserable. You thought that she was messy, being in cahoots with Giselle. So now why are you trying to pin everything on Giselle? And there's a part of me that feels like Wendy was angry at Giselle, Robyn, and Ashley equally on that trip. But then when the show aired and when she saw that the fans were really upset with Giselle, that's when she kind of switched gears and now she just wants to solely be upset with Giselle. I feel like Wendy really does pay attention to what the viewers have to say about the show, and her emotions about things kind of sway with what the fans say. If the fans show a lot of anger directed towards a certain person, that's where she's going to go as well. You get what I'm saying? I felt like Ashley was dead ass wrong to come to you with that news in the first place. That was not her place to do so. Ashley and Wendy don't have that rapport or sort of friendship for Ashley to bring that sort of stuff up to Wendy in the first place. So now Nicki keeps reiterating that Ashley had no storyline and she came down to Williamsburg to say that mess to Wendy. She goes on to say Ashley should have stayed home. So now Candiace decides to insert herself and defend Ashley. She's like, well, Nicki, she did just give birth and she had to come to work. So Nicki's like, whoa, Candy girl, like, I'm not talking to you right now, sis. Like, keep it cute. Candiace, I have a few gripes with you because throughout this last part, you got on my last nerve. I don't understand why you would stick your neck out for Ashley Darby of all people. Ashley would never come to your defense. She wrote a statement against you. And for you to try to defend her to Nicki Minaj, I said, girl, what? Ashley is a grown woman. She can defend herself. She does not need you to come and try to save her. Did Ashley come to your defense when Nicki was getting on you about your album sales at the end of this reunion? No, she just sat there. But let me not jump ahead. Let me just get off of this point because I'm getting really irritated and we still have a lot more to discuss. So now Ashley says, look, any other time when I'm not around the group, it's like there's drama and mess and chaos. And I thought that it was strange that everybody was pussyfooting around this whole Wendy situation. So now Robyn jumps in and says, and to be honest, I mean, I had no idea that that was going to take place when Ashley told Wendy. So now Nicki says, Robyn, are you serious right now? Like, girl, you really trying to pretend like you didn't know that Wendy was going to snap and go crazy on all y'all about her husband and these cheating rumors? Like, girl, stop. So Nicki is clearly getting bored by this whole topic, and she's like, all right, let's move on. She pivots to Robyn, and she brings up this extra sexual energy that she's noticed between Robyn and Juan. I don't know what season Nicki was watching, but it was not the same that we were all watching. I didn't notice any sexual energy or chemistry between Robyn or Juan this season at all. I mean, yeah, they might have shared a few laughs, but I did not see that romantic, sexy, like I didn't get that from them. It seemed like they were just at odds. He's telling her that she's unattractive. She's upset, bringing up the past. I didn't get any lovey-dovey moments from them, but again, I digress. So then she says, is Juan happier because you guys are getting more action in the bedroom? Or is it because you're looking prettier and prettier each week on TV and he don't want nobody to snatch you away? So Robyn starts laughing and says that for years, Juan was the one getting all the attention since he was in the NBA. So she says that now, since the tables have turned, she's the one in the spotlight doing her thing. Now Juan finds it sexy. So that's why they have some added chemistry. So now Nicki changes gears with the conversation yet again. And she brings up Robyn and Giselle's dynamic. She says that she never really paid attention to people saying how Robyn follows Giselle until this season. And she brings up when Robyn says to Giselle in Williamsburg, are we mad at Ashley? So she says, I just found it odd that you as a grown woman need to ask another grown woman if you're mad at somebody. So Robyn is visibly uncomfortable and she's trying to laugh her way out of it, and she's pulling all of these excuses out of her ass. She's like, I mean, Nicki, I didn't even know what was going on. And to be truthful, I was drunk. So Nicki's like, yeah, girl, we know that you were drunk, but sis, you are a grown woman, 42 years old, and there was no reason for you to ask Giselle if you guys were mad at Ashley. So now Nicki brings up another example of Robyn acting like she doesn't have a mind of her own yet again when she asked Giselle if they were going to go on Wendy's trip to Chesapeake Bay. So Robyn says, well, the reason why I asked that was because we were rudely invited. So now Wendy interjects and says, well, you guys sent me a rude invite to your reasonably shady party, calling me a hater. So Robyn's like, girl, that was tongue-in-cheek on the invitation. Nobody was calling you a hater. So now Wendy brings up how Giselle called her a hater, and Giselle says, well, girl, I called you a hater once you got to my party. Nicki jumps in and says, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have taken offense to the invitation because I know I'm not a hater. They say exactly. Now, Wendy, you had every right to be upset when you got to the party and Giselle was calling you a hater because they were gaslighting you. But I will say, I did not think that the invitation was that big of a deal. It was obviously meant in jest. It wasn't like they said on the invitation personally, Wendy, you're a hater, but still come to my house for this party. It was just a joke. They were trying to be clever with it since the party was called Reasonably Shady. That's all it was. So they get off of that topic, and Nicki brings up a lot of viewers questioning Giselle and Robyn's relationship and if they're secret lovers in a lesbian relationship. So everybody in the room starts laughing, and then Nicki says, Robyn, if you were to get with another woman, who is your type? So Robyn says, well, Nicki, I don't have an answer for you because I'm not into women. So now Nicki says, so if you were offered $50 billion to have sex with another woman, who would it be? So now Giselle jumps in and she's like, I will be sleeping with Robyn. Nicki's like, girl, I wasn't talking to you. I'm going to get to you in a minute. I'm asking Robyn who her type is. Robyn starts laughing and says, well, Nicki, it will be you. So now Nicki's like, girl, that's a safe answer because you don't want your girlfriend to get jealous. So Nicki's like, and Robyn, don't tempt me, sis, because you looking real good right now. So Robyn starts laughing. I said, Robyn, sis, don't get it twisted, honey. I think that Nicki might be a lot more than you can handle. So you talk about Nicki, you my type. But if she take you up on that offer, I don't know if you can handle all that. I'm just saying. So Giselle says, obviously, Robyn, and throw Miss Ashley in the mix too because it's going to be a threesome. So now Candiace inserts herself and says that this wouldn't be a threesome, honey. It's going to be a quad because she'd join in with Giselle, Robyn, and Ashley. I had secondhand embarrassment when Candiace did that. These women clearly don't like you. They're not your friends. Giselle said who her types were, and her types were not you. She said Robyn and Ashley would be the women that she slept with if she were going to sleep with a woman. Why are you trying to jump in and add yourself into the equation? It clearly shows that you are desperate to be in good with them. And I don't know how many more times I can keep saying it. Giselle is not your friend. She does not like you. She tolerates you at best. Ashley will always do Giselle and Robyn's bidding. She will never be on your side. This whole conversation segues into Michael and Juan. Nicki wants to know if Robyn and Ashley believe that Michael is sexually attracted to Juan. Ashley's trying to play coy, and she's like, what do you mean? Like, sexually? And Nicki's like, girl, duh. Like, what else would I be talking about? So now Nicki wants to know, how is Robyn so cool with all of this? And she's like, well, I mean, Juan would never let Michael, oh, I'm not really worried. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. So now Nicki says, I mean, I just feel like if a woman said that to my man and then they were friends with each other and they were texting with one another, I feel like certain lines could get crossed. No, I just feel like it's human nature if somebody has an attraction to somebody and then they start talking that certain things could happen. So now Ashley's like, Nicki, I think that you're kind of changing the context of things. Like, that's not what this is. And I don't ever agree with Ashley, but this is the one time where I felt like, Nicki, I think that you're taking this a little bit too far. I don't think that this is the same thing because, again, Juan is not into Michael. So I felt like Nicki's example kind of fell flat because that's not what the situation is. So now Nicki turns the conversation to Giselle's beauty. And she says, Giselle, you are a beautiful woman. And you even made a joke about how the men still cross the street to talk to you. Giselle says, yes. So then she says, but I've noticed that your looks have changed. Would you say that your beauty has faded? So Giselle's like, wait, are you trying to beauty shame me? Like, girl, what's going on? Nicki's like, no, girl, you're still beautiful. I was just saying that you look different from season 1 to season, 6. And they all do for the better because seasons 1, 2, and 3 were real rough. All right. So anyhow, Nicki brings up the comments that Ray made about how she needs to capitalize on her beauty now before it fades and she can't find anybody. So Giselle says, I just found it to be off-putting that a man would say this to another woman that's not his wife. Karen interjects and says, Giselle, I was there. He wasn't trying to be rude. He was just joking. Giselle says, Karen, please stop. You were not there. It was just me and Ray talking and you were off doing something else. I remember that episode. They all went go-kart racing with the guy that she was seeing at the time and then Karen and Ray. I think that Karen and the guy that she was seeing were they were on the go-karts and then Ray and Giselle were talking on the side. So anyhow, Nicki says, Giselle, I feel like because you clap back harder, it sort of negates that your feelings were hurt too. I said, well, isn't that funny that everybody can understand when Giselle says something that's kind of harsh in an argument, but God forbid Candiace stand up for herself and hit below the belt, then it's World War III and everybody's just so offended. The irony of it all, but I digress. So Giselle says, you know what? I should have just said that my feelings were hurt. I shouldn't have said that, he'd be dead. Now Nicki addresses Giselle's age jabs towards Karen. Giselle says, no, I don't. Nicki's like, child, I know you sitting up here lying to me. We must not be watching the same show because you are constantly getting on Karen about her age. So they play the footage, and of course, it is a whole montage of Giselle going after Karen's age, starting from season 1 to now. So now Karen's like, girl, you hope to look this good at 58, and you're only 5 years away. So Giselle's like, all right, Karen. So I'm like, I thought that Giselle was 51, not 53. Karen goes on to say that it's a privilege to get older and how it's always weird to her when people come after a woman's age. Now Robyn interjects and she says, Karen, I will say that you look a lot younger than you did when you came on season 1. And Robyn was dead on when she said, Karen, I thought that you were in your 60s when you came on this show. So Karen, you can tell that she's kind of upset hearing this, but I'm sorry, sis, it's the truth. So they're all gassing her up saying that she looks like she's 52 now. Candiace says that she looks like she's younger than 50. I said, Candiace, I'm not going to sit up here and allow you to lie like that. No, she doesn't. Karen has kept her body together. The hair is looking better. Clothes are looking better. But she is nobody's 52. I would say she's a well-preserved 62, 63. I still don't believe that she's only 58. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not buying it. I want to see the birth certificate. I don't know. I don't see 58 when I see Karen. Nicki wants to know about Giselle giving Jamal a second chance and how it's kind of interesting that she gave him a second chance for the relationship when she's on TV and has some fame and success of her own. So Giselle goes on to say that with her success, she now feels like she's on equal footing with Jamal. Then she says that since she was a stay-at-home mom while they were married, she wasn't working and he took care of everything, so she was in his shadow. Now, if you don't know, Jamal Bryant is a big-time pastor. He has a mega church, and he also does some TV appearances as well, so he was the name while they were married. So now Nicki's like, so how are you guys living, like off of the tithes and offerings? And she's like, no, actually Jamal didn't take any money from the church. We lived off of his speaking engagements and his appearances, and he also wrote several books, so that's how he got his money. So Nicki's like, all right now, okay, so that's how you got that Gucci car. Everybody starts laughing, and then Giselle's like, well, actually, that car's not even expensive. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. So now we see all the ladies take a short break, and Eddie comes out to say hey to Wendy, and he says to her, man, like she was drilling y'all. I was watching the whole thing. So Wendy says that she's kind of nervous because she has no idea what Nicki is about to ask her. So now they come back from break, and Nicki calls out Wendy for looking at her cue cards, trying to see what she was going to ask. So Wendy's like, yeah, I was looking, but I didn't see anything because you have a lot of cue cards. Now, Wendy, I understand that you might have been nervous and scared as hell because Nicki was going in on everybody. But the fact that nobody else looked at those cue cards, the fact that everybody sat there and took their lumps for the most part, that was inexcusable for you to try to look and see what she was going to ask you. And for you to be on TV, on MSNBC and CNN and Fox News, then you know better than to do such a thing. And Nicki was not pleased about that, child, because she shaded you on Twitter. And I was like, Wendy, let this be a lesson. Don't pull a stunt like that again. That was not cool. So now Nicki turns her attention to Karen, and she starts asking Karen about the hot box comment that she has said to Giselle earlier in the season. And we all know what Karen meant when she said a hot box. So Nicki goes on to ask Karen, why did she make that comment? Was it because she wanted Giselle to back up off her and she wanted to let Giselle know that that's not what she wanted? So Karen says pretty much yeah. And I did feel a little bit ashamed when I said that because it was like Giselle took me to a really low place, but I had to get her off of me because she was saying some really crazy stuff about me too. Then she says, sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. I said, oh, really? Because again, when Candiace plays by that rule of fighting fire with fire, y'all seem to have a problem with it. So it's okay when you guys go for the jugular, but when Candiace does it, it's a problem. Got it. Again, the hypocrisy on this cast is beyond alarming, and I am just so sick and tired of it. I really am. And now Nicki moves on to Mia. I'm going to try to keep this Mia portion real brief because you know how I feel about her. I can't stand her. And I'll say it yet again that she has been an awful addition to this franchise. Nicki is letting Mia know that she was really touched watching the scenes with Mia and her mom and how she just wants there to be healing amongst her and her mother. So Mia says thank you and how they're working on their relationship day by day and how her mom is actually watching her kids right now. So now Nicki brings up Mia's surgeries and she wants to know about a certain surgery. Does it enhance Mia's climax? So Mia's like, yeah, girl, it enhances things. And you know that me and Zaddy be doing a whole bunch of freaky stuff. I said, girl, okay. And then Nicki brings up the whole threesome stuff. She's like, are you and Gordon still having threesomes? And if so, are you inviting Becky's into the bedroom? Remember how Mia revealed on the trip that Gordon likes white women. Mia says that they don't have white women in their bedroom, but the women that Mia picks out are very exotic and gorgeous. Nicki wants to know if Mia feels like the threesomes add some spice to their marriage and makes their marriage stronger? Mia says yes. All I'm going to say about that is I think that Mia is playing herself and just saying anything to work through the pain of the fact that her man wants somebody else in the bedroom. That's all I think it is. I just don't think that Mia's all happy about it. I think that it's all a front. And I don't believe that Mia's picking these women out. I think that Gordon is picking these women out and saying, this is who we're going to be sleeping with tonight, and you better get ready. That's what I think it is. I think that Mia probably has no say-so in that. But again, just my opinion. And I loved when Nicki asked if she could bring other men into the bedroom. And when Mia said no, Nicki was like, like it needs to work both ways. All in all, I think that Gordon and Mia's marriage is a mess. So here is one of my favorite questions of the entire night. Nicki wants to know if Mia, Karen, and Ashley would have ever picked their husbands if they had $100 million in the bank on their own. And she's like, and don't lie, because I got a lie detector right here, child, so don't even pull it. She goes on to ask Ashley first. So Ashley's stalling, not really wanting to answer the question. Nicki's like, girl, answer the question. Yes or no? Would you have picked Michael if you had $100 million in the bank on your own? So Ashley's like, well, I mean, I met Michael when I was 22. I was a bartender, so probably not. So Nicki's like, okay, so that's the answer. So now Ashley's like, no. I mean, I was physically attracted to Michael. So Nicki's like, girl, what? Like, what was you attracted to? I could not stop laughing. I mean, I was on the floor. I said, Nicki, no, you did not. I said, no, you did not. But I said, we were all thinking the same thing. Ashley, just own it. We all know what the deal is. You saw that man come in with a boatload of money. You said, my tent days are over. I want luxury, the good life, and stability. And you saw him coming in that restaurant and you said, okay, I got a live one. He was newly divorced, fresh out of a 25-year marriage with 2 grown kids. And you said, oh, I'm going to get him. I'm going to be wife number 2. And you waited him out and you became that at 27. So let's not. If you had your own $100 million, you would not be checking for Michael. I can assure you that. So Nicki moves on to Karen, and Karen says that the $100 million would have enhanced things, but she had to have Ray. Like she knew on their first date that that was going to be her husband because he set her soul on fire. I said, okay, Karen. Baby, Ray did not set your soul on fire. That wallet did. And there is no shame in that, sis. Go ahead, honey. Nicki's like, I hear that, girl, but the fact that Ray was rolling in the dough as the Black Bill Gates, I'm sure that didn't hurt. So she quotes Kanye West Gold Digger, and she's like, I ain't saying that you a gold digger, but you ain't messing with no broke, And so they start laughing. Karen's like, look, I was never going to get with the broke man. And I said, girl, I hear you. All right. Like, that's a word because same here. But we not talking about me, y'all. We talking about these ladies. Now Nicki turns to Mia and she asks Mia the same question. She's like, look, if you had $100 million in the bank, would you have gotten with Zaddy? So Mia says, well, how do you know that I don't already have $100 million in the bank? Nicki says, I know you don't.
You know what? This is too much.
When I tell you, I hit the floor. Y'all, I laughed for 10 minutes straight. Like tears were coming down my eyes, okay? She cleared Mia so smoothly. Mia, you have a few nice purses, a few nice cars, but let's not get carried away. And your fashions and that skin say otherwise. You don't have anybody's $100 million, nothing, so please stop. And I said, the fact that you're talking to a woman whose net worth is $100 million, girl, just be quiet. So now Mia's like, yeah, I would marry him over again, okay? And I was like, yeah, your feelings are hurt because Nicki let you know that you don't have anybody's $100 million. Now Nicki brings up the whole strip club versus entertainment club debacle because remember how Mia refused to call herself a stripper. She was calling herself an entertainer because she worked at a high-end place where they wore gowns and the men were eating steak and lobster. So now Nicki wants to know, what is Mia's definition of a strip club? Mia says when they serve chicken wings. So Nicki's like, girl, what? Nicki says, Mia, I just want you to know that you sound absolutely crazy right now. Mia made absolutely no sense, in my opinion. I don't understand why she feels a sort of way. Just say what it was. You were a stripper, and there's nothing wrong with that. You were making your money, doing what you had to do. Just own it. Like, why is that so difficult for her? So Nicki stops pressing Mia about the whole strip club debate, and then she goes on to ask Mia if it makes her feel good to know that other people's husbands are attracted to her. So now, before Mia can answer, Candiace interjects, and she says, yeah, because we're all intimidated by her. So Nicki turns to Candiace and says, Candy girl, I'm gonna need you to go to the back and get your projector. Like, be quiet, I'm not talking to you. Giselle even says, Candiace, can she talk, please? Like, let her answer the question. I was so pissed when Mia was like, put the kid in time out. I was like, Candiace, I wish you didn't say anything. I was just really irritated that Candiace put herself in that position to be embarrassed by all of them, especially by Mia. Mia answers the question and says that she's used to being a sex symbol. That's all I'm going to say about that. Nicki had me cracking up because she was shading Mia for that comment on Twitter too. So anyhow, Wendy says, around somebody's husband though? Like, really? Then Nicki brings up Mia's comment about how Eddie couldn't even look her in the eye when she met him at Karen's love party. So Nicki says, what did you mean by that? Mia says that Wendy was giving off that energy that Eddie couldn't even look at her. So Nicki agrees with Mia, and she says to Wendy that Wendy low-key played herself being insecure around Mia. And I felt the same way when that episode aired. I remember saying, Wendy, when you guys were playing that game, you should have just let Eddie say who he was going to say without you prompting him. Because you did say on the camera, you better not say Mia. And I wish that you had not have said that. When it comes to women like Mia, they get off on feeling like you're insecure around them or they could take your man. You cannot show any weakness at all. You need to step in there like, I'm bad too. Okay, I don't care who's in this room. And then Wendy says to Mia, well, you played yourself saying that about a married man. So then she tells Mia to worry about all the women that Gordon has sex with in front of her face. So now her and Mia get into it. I was like, a mess. Now, Mia, you were dead wrong to make that comment about Eddie not being able to look you in the eye. All you had to say to Wendy was, you know what, sis? I was out of line for that comment. I said that because me and you had gotten into it, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by it. That's all you had to say. But because you're so immature and you can never just own up to what you say or do, you can't do that. Now it's Wendy's turn to be on the hot seat. Nicki brings up the blog post about Eddie supposedly following 180 booty models on Instagram and how he had to unfollow them. Child, the way Wendy was laughing just as nervously as she wanted to laugh, I said, oh my gosh, Wendy. Like, it was clear that Wendy was visibly uncomfortable for what was about to come next. And then Nicki says to her, you know, Wendy, you look like the type who's very controlling and would be controlling who Eddie follows on Instagram. So now Wendy says that she doesn't know who her husband is following. You can tell that Nicki doesn't believe that at all, but she just lets Wendy slide with that one. So now Nicki says, is that why you got your booty done? To keep up with the booty models that your husband is following? So Wendy says, no, that's not the reason. And even with her butt being done, it's still not as big as the booty models that Eddie follows. Now Nicki turns her attention to Candiace, and she brings up Dorothy's behavior. She says, your mom is willing to destroy your husband for all the world to see. And how does it feel watching your mom say things like this about your husband? Nicki hands her a tissue and Candiace starts crying. She says that it was really hard for her to call her husband up and tell him what was to come. Then she adds that this whole incident has affected her marriage. I said, Candiace, sis, if you have to cut your mother off, that is what you might just have to do, because Dorothy's behavior is unacceptable. Like, there is no coming back from certain things. And because you and your husband are now experiencing problems because of your mom and the things that she has said on national TV about your spouse, you have to put some serious distance between y'all. Period, point blank. Now Nicki wants to know, why hasn't Candiace checked her mother? Candiace said, I absolutely did check her when this first happened. And then Nicki wants to know, well, what did you say to her? Candiace is like, look, I'm not trying to put my mom on blast like all the way, okay? Like, just know that I checked her. Listen, Candiace has every right to keep certain stuff completely private. She already told Nicki and everybody else that yes, she did check her mom. I don't think that it's any of our business to know exactly what she said to Dorothy. Let that be between her and her mother. I think that with the culture that we're in now, it is a bad habit because people do feel entitled to know every single thing about you. And although it can be hard and it can be tempting, you do need to keep some stuff private. There needs to be a part of your life that nobody knows about, whether you're in the public eye or not. Keep something sacred. And Candiace has every right to keep some of those details to herself. She's already in a very sticky situation with her mom, and her husband. She does not need to tell every single thing to make things worse. Candiace does add that she did take a break from her mom for a few months. So now Nicki says that Candiace needs to set some boundaries with her mom. So Nicki turns to Giselle and is like, Giselle, am I telling the truth here? And Giselle says, yes, Nicki, we've all told Candiace the same thing. Candiace, you do need to set some boundaries with your mother. You are a grown woman. Your mom is out of line. And you need to let your mom know, Mom, if you want to see me, if you want us to have a close relationship, you cannot do X, Y, and Z. I believe that respect is a two-way street. And just because you're older does not give you the license to be disrespectful to me. I don't play that. Because the fact that they're having problems now because of Dorothy says a lot. And I hope that they can recover and come back from all of this. Listen, relationships and marriages already come with enough stuff. You don't need to have anybody's mother coming into the picture trying to sow seeds of craziness and discord. I'm just saying. Candiace, please listen to Nicki Minaj and set some boundaries with your mother ASAP. And I'm generally not here for Karen, but she was right when she told Miss Dorothy, look, sis, if you get into a pissing match with your daughter's husband, you're going to lose your daughter. So I suggest that you stop it and find a way to get along with Chris. So now Nicki's like, okay, y'all, let's move on. And she brings up Candiace's music career and Candiace's new single, Drive Back. So she says, Candiace, I like the song a lot. I even said it on Instagram how much I like your song. So now Nicki goes on to ask a shady question to all the ladies. And she says, on a scale from 1 to 10, how successful did you think that Candiace's song was going to be? Nicki starts with Mia first. So of course, Mia's hateful ass says a -2. Then she adds on that she never even listened to Candiace's song in the first place. Mia is the epitome of a hater, and it eats her alive that this beautiful dark-skinned black woman who grew up rich has talent and is making a name for herself in the music industry. To get props from Toni Braxton and the legendary Anita Baker, and you sitting up there with this old man talking about you own all these chiropractic franchises that he built. She is so jealous and so hateful. And you're a damn lie talking about, I never even listened to the song in the first place. Girl, stop. You know you've heard that song a good 5 times. It's all over social media. You know you heard the music playing at the video shoot. Liar. Karen says a 9 because Candiace can sing. She says a 9 for effort, a 9 for the song. And then Nicki says, girl, that's not the question. The question is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how successful did you think that the song was going to be? So Karen says, I thought it was going to be at least a 5. So Candiace already knows where this conversation is about to go, okay? It's getting real shady and real nasty real fast. So she says, look, my song has gotten 500,000 streams already. And Nicki says, oh, really? Then Wendy jumps in and says, and she's also on the Billboard charts. So Nicki's like, wait, what Billboard charts? I think she says that she's number 24 on the R&B Billboard charts, and that she's also number 4 on iTunes. So Giselle wants to know if that's good in the music world. Of course, Mia has to say something real nasty under her breath yet again, talking about that's terrible. Can you even sing? Can you even dance? What can you do? So now Nicki wants to know, how many albums did Candiace sell? Candiace says 500,000. Nicki says, no, I'm talking about albums, not streams. So Candiace says, let me pull up my numbers. They just came in yesterday. So as she's trying to find her stats, Mia says, you don't know your numbers already? So Candiace says, again, the stats just came out yesterday. I said, Mia, if you don't shut the entire hell up. Shut up. Don't have anything to say to Candiace. I would have told Mia, shut the F up. I don't talk to you. We're not friends. You know nothing about the music business. Don't question me about a damn thing. You want to talk about somebody who provokes people with her mouth? That's Mia. I'm telling you right now, had Mia been saying all that slick stuff to me while I was trying to find my stats to give to Nicki, I would have cursed her clean out. I would have cursed her out so bad, she would have left that stage crying. Mia does not need to be questioning anybody. She needs to sit there and shut up. Candiace finds the stats and she says that she has sold 20,000 albums. So Nicki's like, okay. And then they move on. Say what you want about Candiace, but the fact that Candiace is doing this on her own with no label, she's a Real Housewives reality star trying to make it big in the music business. She's doing a pretty damn good job. You don't have to like Candiace, but you do have to respect her grind and her hustle. I'm just all for giving folks their props, so that really kind of annoyed me to see everybody kind of just, like, poo-poo Candiace's 20,000 in album sales. That's a really big deal, and she's doing a great job. So Nicki brings up Candiace's new single and her new video, and then they play it. The song is called Is It Enough? And the video is really sexy. Candiace is like nude, she's in a tub, and she's just really getting it. So the ladies are loving the video. Nicki loves the video. She says that she loves the vibe. She likes how sexy it is, and Candiace is really happy. Now Nicki brings up Candiace using some auto-tune on Drive Back. Candiace says, yes, I did for creative purposes, but we all know that Candiace can sing, so we just know that if she did use auto-tune, it's not because she can't sing, it's because she just wanted to use it. So now Nicki puts Candiace on the spot, and she's like, all right, child, I'm gonna need to hear something a cappella. So Candiace is visibly nervous, and she's like, and Nicki's like, just sing a few lines, girl, like, it's not that deep, just sing a few lines, a Drive Back a cappella, I wanna hear it. So Candiace is like, you know what, I wanna sing a gospel song. So now Giselle's like, girl, just sing it. Like, just sing the song. I was like, Giselle, shut up. If you see she doesn't want to sing her song, wants to sing a gospel song, let her do that. So, of course, here comes Mia trying to jump in the mix, talking about, you're an artist, sing. The moment that everybody has been waiting for, Candiace sings Drive Back. Baby, the way Candiace cleared, Candiace sounded so damn good. When she finished, the whole room gave her the most amazing, thunderous applause. Remember, you have everybody on the set, the cameraman, the glam squad, everybody's there. So you see Andy in the background clapping, like everybody is just super proud of Candiace. I said, Candiace, that's how you clear a bitch. Because Mia was sitting there looking stupid. The way you shut her up, I said, that's how you do it when you get in front of a girl who can't stand you. Let them know. Even Mia had to give it to you when she said, I might even download the song now. That was good. I don't know why these girls would even try Candiace like she can't sing. Again, you don't have to like her, but don't sit up here and act like Mama doesn't have some vocal ability when she clearly does. So now Mia says, I'm sorry to interrupt, but can I use the bathroom? I've been trying to hold in my pee all this time and I can't hold it anymore. So Nicki says, okay, girl, that's fine. Now Nicki gets up from her chair and all the husbands come out. Chris is pissed. He's like, I am really not liking the line of questioning that she was doing. And he's like, we'll talk about this later. So Candiace says, no, babe, like, don't be upset. I'm not upset about it because she was giving everybody a hard time. So now Andy comes up to Candiace and he's like, Candiace, you did a phenomenal job. Like, you brought the room down. So proud of you. Like, you did that. I said, now, you know Candiace did a phenomenal job when Andy is complimenting her. And we, the viewers, know that Candiace is not one of Andy's favorites. So for Andy to pay Candiace one of the highest compliments, that is a feat in itself. You know that quote where it's like, be so good where they can't even deny you? That's what that was. Because in that moment, even her haters had to give her her propers. Even folks who don't really care for her had to give it up to her that she did that. I love that. I love seeing somebody prove somebody wrong. Like, I love that. There's just nothing like that feeling like, okay, you said I couldn't do that, or you doubted me. You said I wasn't that good, but okay, I'm gonna show you. And she showed them. I really do wish Candiace a lot of success in her music career. And I hope that it really blows up to the point where she no longer needs this show. Since Nicki Minaj was live tweeting the show along with everybody else on Twitter, I saw that she was upset at Chris Bassett being annoyed with her questioning Candiace. So I just said, oh my gosh. And then I saw that Chris Bassett responded to her tweet, inciting even more chaos. So Chris is still upset and he's just saying, like, you know, I've been seeing this now for the past 3 seasons. Giselle says, Chris, this is great for her. Like, she did great. Like, just be happy. I think anybody would be annoyed to feel like their spouse is always getting beat up on these shows. It really does seem like Candiace is on an island all by herself. So the final part ends with Nicki Minaj thanking the ladies and Andy Cohen and them having a toast to being bad bitches and being the queens of Potomac. So, child, we have come to the end of the road. And let me say that this season was something else. I want to give my final thoughts. I think that Potomac needs to do a serious revamp. This cast needs to be swapped out. If Andy doesn't want everybody to go, I would suggest that at least 3 of these women need to be fired or demoted. Bring in some new blood that is different than Mia, because Mia, absolutely not. I just feel like the fan base, the toxicity, because of what happened last season, it's just become very unbearable, and it's no longer fun to watch. Some serious cast changes need to be made. That's really the long and the short of it. It can't continue like this. They're going to lose a lot of viewers. I know a lot of you guys have expressed that you stopped watching after the whole argument, lettuce toss between Candiace and Mia. So a lot of you guys are like, I'm over Potomac. I can't do this anymore. Like, shout out to everybody. I have fun. Oh!
Shout out to everybody. I had fun.
I gotta be good.
And I'm right there with you. All in all, this was definitely one of the most entertaining reunions that we've had across all the franchises. I think that Nicki Minaj did do a good job hosting the last part. It was very entertaining, very interesting. It was a lot of fun. She did ask some good questions, and the ladies were squirming. But y'all, we are done. I'm relieved. I'm going to take this time to just rest my mind, thank God, and play catch up with Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. I know I owe you guys episodes 4 and 5. Don't worry, I got you. But that was the reunion. I hope you all enjoyed this recap. Thank you all for watching. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.